is widely known in New Thought. Martha's trainings approach deep inner work as an adventure with a sense of curiosity and wonder. A master of the art of right questioning, she calls forth the most stubborn and self-defeating patterns to create a new way of being, literally. Ordained in religious science and divine science, Martha has served as Great Lakes Unity consultant and served several years as Unity Worldwide Institute faculty. She has attended Emerson Theological Seminary and has a master's and a doctorate, Byron Katie School of the Work for the Work, my goodness, and Hoffman Institute. She is a Healthy Congregations facilitator and trainer. And in 2025, Martha was the recipient of the Light of God Expressing Award. And I've been involved with a few workshops of Martha's, and right now we're deep in the book Presence and Potential. And I tell you, it's a book to go deep into and discover who you are. Welcome, Martha. Thank you.
Oh, thank you too, honey. I'm looking forward to joining one of those classes for the presence and potential, and hearing your words about how deeply it's taken you, and some of the others were nodding and giving thumbs up. So apparently them, and that's what the intent of the book is, to get to live my vision, which is to serve those who serve, which is why I'm here today, and to get empowered teachings to the whole of the world. So together we can do this. I can reach this many, then together, Ottawa and Kitchener, we can reach this many, and then eventually this many. So thank you for co-inspiring with me to make this possible. And as we launch into today, even the title, I think, deserves some pause. Is God in all things? Really? Is God in all things? So we say and affirm there's one power and one presence in all the universe. It is God. It is good. It is omniscient. It is omnipresent. It is all things. It is always present. It is all powerful. And then our plane my plane doesn't take off on time. And it's like, there's no God in that. With my busy schedule, my plane, my car got hit in the parking lot, my purse got stolen. So the minute we insert a my into anything, hi ho, off to hell we go. And we have forgotten God is in all things. So where is God in these things? Where is God in this thing? So as we pause today, think about then somewhere in your life that we would say, most of us would say, oh, the God's in a sunset, God's in a sunrise, God's in the nature. And it's like, well, what about that humidity? Like, oh, what was God thinking? I mean, God needs to reevaluate. That humidity makes my hair frizzy. It makes me so uncomfortable. It's like God is in all people. We're divine children. We're offspring of God. It's like, well, what about that knucklehead? What about that attitude? What about that philosophy? Not that guy. Mm-mm. Not her either, by the way. And then God is in all of life. It's like, what about the diagnosis? So our spiritual maturity whispers to us this morning. It may be more than a whisper. If God is not in this, then God is not at all. If God is not in this too, this too, then God is not. So now the question of the day then, how in the world are we going to live this out? How in the world then to embody this, to say that we're diving into a truth that we claim to believe, that we practice devotionally, spiritually practice to embody, and we're on a path. We're on a course to do that. Not a destination, no place we arrive that I know of, but a journey, a course to stay. And it's going to be at times deeply comforting, profoundly grace-filled, deeply comforting, and at times inconvenient, and at times unpleasant. And both are included. So to say God is in all things, to say there's one power and one presence in all the universe sounds lovely. And then we hit traffic or we step on a Lego. And in case you've never stepped on a Lego, just you can thank God that you've been spared from that. Or you open your email and see that email. Or you look at your phone and it's them calling. So far, far beyond, God is in a sunset. God is in sinus infections too, if there's a God at all. So here we are. So how then, how can you be differently, having embodied, how can you be different now? How can I be different now, hearing this big idea? How will you be different? If God is truly omnipresent, everywhere and everything, then I do not get to cherry pick where God shows up and how. How then shall I live? How then will you apply this? So we like and prefer God in peace, love, light, surrender, abundance. But we're not so sure about God in loss or confusion or that one knucklehead relative. And yet the spiritual invitation is not to edit reality, but to awaken within reality, life on life's terms, to awaken within that reality. So let's answer then, how do you react when it doesn't go your way? And we could call this little section spiritual confessions of the high righteous spiritual types. How do you react when it doesn't go your way? We're wired biologically for survival. We're wired with fear, with righteousness, to judge, and in a spiritual devoted practice to do our best to transcend it, to be less instinctual, less knee-jerkish, less judgmental, less hardwired, less fearful, and how to undo the wiring of that, how to operate from the upper room, the higher part of our development, the higher part of our brains, instead of this lower reptilian part of our brain. So how to do this? So how would it feel in your body right here, right now, if you believed or understood or awakened that nothing is outside of God. That nothing, no thing is outside of presence. Nothing is excluded. So we teach and pray and preach inclusivity. What if all of it was included? You don't have to like it. Don't have to love it. Don't have to agree with it. Don't have to vote for it. And it's here. The drought and the flood. The perfect temperature and the humidity. The traffic flows and the traffic doesn't. They agree, they disagree. They respect, they disagree. They disrespect. They include, they exclude. Alpha and Omega. So you've heard, I used to do a talk called The Message is the Mess. The mess is in the message. And I just did one just this week called What's in the Way is the Way. And it's very much akin to this topic today. So God is not just in the outcomes, not when I get my way, not when it goes the way I preferred, the way I visioned, but in the unfolding of it, in the process of it, in the processing of it. So I've asked in my time of serving like this, so I've been at this professionally for 30 years. And even before that, as a little kid, saying to God, to life, to whatever's there, whatever's listening, I need it in 2 words or less. I need my lessons in 2 words or less, 2-word truths. So, peace or pain, resist or surrender, shut down, open up. This has served me. It still serves me, and it serves me well. So I want to read a few of these today and see if you can get a sense of them in your body, what it would be like to not try to make yourself like it, not to try to make yourself believe it, simply to open to it, to see what might be rewired in us this morning, literally rewired, a new neural pathway developed in us. Chaos. Notice your reaction to chaos. And clarity. And what if they were both okay? At times there'll be chaos. It's okay. At times there'll be clarity. Great. Questions, doubt. It's okay. Doubt and discernment. Both and. Doubt and devotion. Fear, of course. Hardwired for fear. Of course there'll be fear. Normal, natural. So fear's okay. Fear's included. And faith. Faith that I'm equipped. Faith in a way that I may not be seeing yet. Faith that there's a way through. Faith, I can do this. Faith, together, it can be done. Fear and faith. Burdens. Burdens, the burdens of life, the burdens of emotions, the burdens of familial relationships, burdens. and blessings. The blessings of the relationship, the blessings of the emotions, the blessings of the psychological solid foundation I also have. So the burdens, of course, and the blessings too. I'm working deeply with a process called IFS, Internal Family Systems. You can check it out by just Googling that, IFS. And it speaks about the legacy burdens that we carry, things that were handed down in our family, that we were unconscious in the fact that they're in our bones and blood primarily. So we're still patterned after these things we adapted to and through. And I've gotten over focused in the burdens, the legacy burdens. And just this week in my own work, I got back in touch to the legacy blessings as well. So, yes, I was handed down stuff I don't love. I've handed down patterning and ideas and philosophies and things that I don't agree with. I've also been handed down things I'm delighted about, like grit and resilience and living close to the land and resourcefulness and community and things like that. So, both and. So, let's pause and take a breath. And notice that some of these feel easy and some of these are a stretch. It feels like a stretch. Of course, it's a stretch. And some of these, we may still be a no, thank you. What else? And that's okay too. And that resistance will cause this to persist. You've heard it and heard it and heard it. What we resist, persist. What I resist, persist. So resistance is a guarded traumatic response from a protective part of us that doesn't want us to have to feel some of those things again that we had to bear and had to feel. Of course, it's doing its job. And if we let resistance lead, then persistent resistance makes the persistent recurrence of these things. And that exactly is where the spiritual work begins again, where all of it begins again. So there is an intelligence, there is care, there is a functioning in life, there is life itself. And if God is life, then even there in the boogers and the mucus and the hurt feelings, even there, God is there. God is present. So one of the things I practice, which could be helpful to some of you, you're welcome to give it a go to see, to test it out. When I notice that reaction, this resistance, this pushing away or pushing back, that I pause and say, oh, this too. Oh, yes, this too. So she didn't return the phone call. Oh, this too. The traffic was stuck. It interrupted my important schedule. Oh, this too. The way I planned carefully something did not unfold to the perfect planning. Oh, this too. This too. So I hope after today, instead of saying this should not be happening, that we drop the should, and you've heard it many times, to stop shoulding on yourself and to say, instead of this should not be happening is this is happening. This is occurring. This is actually happening. Now, how can I be with it? How can I be with what is? How can I be with the way it's going? In that lies all the power in the universe. In that one choice, how can I be with what's happening here? Not this should be happening or this should not be happening. Number 2, this is just wrong. I heard someone say this week in a session with me, Martha, it was wrong on all counts. I relate. And how am I going to be with it? And I'm not going to be with it the same way if I'm seeing it as wrong. So I'm disempowered. I absolutely lack creativity, resourcefulness, collaboration if the minute I say it's wrong and resist and push it back. Even to say it's not spiritual. We think we know what's spiritual and what's not spiritual, to include it all. So instead of all that, this shouldn't be happening, this is wrong, this is bad, this is not spiritual, to say, where is God in this? Where is God in this? And how am I going to be an expression of God toward this, relating to this? Not to bypass things, not to make, not to put perfume on poop. That's not what I mean here. So no spiritually bypassing here. The emotions are included too. So not to deny, but to discover. Instead of denying, discover. I'm going to find this. And one of the early New Thought teachers was quoted, and I don't remember if it was Emma Curtis Hopkins, one of the teachers, the early teachers in here, that was known for saying over and over, I demand to see the blessing in this. I demand to see the blessing in this. And even without a demand, because it'll be hard for Canadians to demand anything, I'd say. You're far too polite and civilized. But to say, I'm willing to see a blessing in this. I'm willing to find a blessing in this. And it's going to rewire all about how I am with this. So a little quote I pulled today was from a woman that said, I believe God is in everything as soon as my life gets easier. I'll believe God is in everything as soon as my life gets easier. And life said, I'll get easier when you see God in everything. So who goes first? So we often wait for peace, and the waiting for peace or the chasing peace is a thief of peace. The irony of it, the paradox of it. So how are we going to live it? Not perfectly, I'd say. However, consistently holds the power, I believe. And Reverend Cheryl spoke about it as she started the opening today of this gathering. Consistency, and the power of that consistency. Not perfectly, intentionally, and consistently. So when something difficult arises, and it will, pause and ask, what is actually happening here? How am I feeling toward this? This is Byron Katie's work. How did I react to this? It's okay. Without the judgment of that, even to include the emotions. And where is God in this? Curiosity led, discovery instead of drama led. And the answers are in the lesson, in the growth, the unfolding, in the letting be, and in a strength we did not know we had, because we were not exercising that power and that strength, because resistance was sucking the very strength and power out of us. And when all else fails, God is here because I am here. See if you can say that. God is here because I am here. Again, God is here because I am here. I am here because God is here. God is here. So the next time you start arguing with customer service, you may just stop yourself and go, God is here. This too. Yes to this too. And the next time you're looking for your glasses and you're wearing them, anybody relate? Or you're looking for your phone, on your phone, you're looking for your phone. This too. Yes, and this too. And when you go to the refrigerator 14 times, hoping that there's a food in there that wasn't in there the last time you looked in there, this too. God in the ridiculous, this too. So as we stop dividing life into sacred and secular, good and bad, right and wrong, spiritual and unspiritual, when we stop that, or stop that as much, then we're going to live into wholeness. The wholeness that we already are. The wholeness that we don't have to earn. So an awakening, and as the song says, a remembering. This is where peace lies. And the teaching is not that everything is pleasant. The teaching is everything is included. God is not fragile. God is not limited. And God is not offended by reality. God is expressed through reality. Reality as it is. So in the holding on and the letting go, the speaking up and the sitting still, and the speaking up and staying silent, and the being real, and the planning and the surrendering, and the doing and the being, and the beginning and the endings. God in these things too. God in all things. Yes, this too. So may we find God in the ordinary and the outrageous, in the sacred and the silly, and in the polished and the messy. And may we remember that nothing is wasted. Nothing is outside of God. And nothing is beyond the reach of presence. Presence and potential. And you may have to say, after all I've done for God, or God, now this is interesting. So be it. So as we meditate then, take what you can take from this message, what you've heard, and see and get a sense of what it would feel like in your body to live this. Who you would be, including it all. Not having to like it, not having to love it, and this too. And from Psalms, there's a scripture I pulled for this meditation, and it says, "Where shall I go from thy spirit? Or where shall I flee from thy presence?" Who would you be if you didn't have to flee? How would you live? Imagine you as a third person as you're watching your very life and watching you navigate the relational dynamics you're in, the psychological dynamics you're in, the emotional dynamics you're in. And how would you be with it all? Awake and remembering all things work together. God in all things. Yes, this too. Yes, this too. I invite you in a time of silence to enter the silence, maybe with those words. Yes, this too. It's all included. Everything belongs. We give thanks for this awakening, for this alignment, for this atonement, for this remembering. And we redevote ourselves to the path, to the course of being the peace we want to see in the world, of living in wholeness and allness. So be it. Amen.